What?
Said you let people in.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to start playing the music. Beaucoup YouTube, hein.
In the heart of Africa, dreams arise. Miss our Africa, we'll see the skies, guiding the way with knowledge as the key, shaping tomorrow strong and free. From the classrooms to the fields we sow, the seeds of learning, watch them grow. Together we stand, lifting each hand, building the future across the land. It's Africa, hey, we're celebrating all the light we shine. excellence across the line. It's South Africa. Hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. For the leaders, the teachers, the minds so bright, Miss South Africa, you are guiding light in every corner, every town. Knowledge reigns, wearing the crown. Through the highs and lows, we keep the flame. With unity and love, we make a name. From east to west, north to south, we see a future shaped by you and me. We're celebrating all the light we shine, educational excellence across the line. In South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. We're the leaders, the teachers, the minds so bright, and educational excellence across the line. In South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. To the beat of change, every step brings a brighter day. In this South Africa, we're making waves. With hearts united, we pave the way. It's South Africa, hey, we're celebrating all the light we shine, educational excellence across the line. It's South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. Oh, we rise with the spirit of learning in our eyes. Together we stand, forever we grow. Miss South Africa, let the whole world know. In the heart of Africa, dreams arise. In South Africa, we see the skies, guiding the way with knowledge as the key, shaping tomorrow strong and free. From the classrooms to the fields we sow, the seeds of learning, watch them grow. Together we stand, lifting each hand, building the future across the land. It's South Africa, hey, we're celebrating all the light we shine, educational excellence across the line. It's South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. For the leaders, the teachers, the minds so bright, in South Africa, you are guiding light in every corner, every town. Knowledge reigns, wearing the crown. Through the highs and lows, we keep the flame. With unity and love, we make a name. From east to west, north to south, we see a future shaped by you and me. We're celebrating all the light we shine, educational excellence across the line. In South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. We're the leaders, the teachers, the minds so bright, and educational excellence across the line. In South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. To the beat of change, every step brings a brighter day. In this South Africa, we're making waves. With hearts united, we pave the way. It's South Africa, hey, we're celebrating all the light we shine, educational excellence across the line. It's South Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. Oh, we rise with the spirit of learning in our eyes. Together we stand, forever we grow. Miss South Africa, let the whole world know. the heart of Africa, dreams will rise. Miss our Africa, we see the skies, guiding the way with knowledge as the key, shaping tomorrow strong and free. From the classrooms to the fields we sow, the seeds of learning, watch them grow. Together we stand, lifting each hand, building the future across the land. It's Africa, hey, we're celebrating all the light we shine, and the kingdom of excellence across the line. It's Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. For the leaders, the teachers, the minds so bright, Miss Africa, you are guiding light in every corner, every town. Knowledge reigns, wearing the crown. Through the highs and lows we keep the flame. With unity and love we make a name. From east to west, north to south we see a future shaped by you and me. We're celebrating all the light we shine, and the kingdom of excellence across the line. Miss Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. We're the leaders, the teachers, the minds so bright, and the kingdom of excellence across the line. It's Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. We dance to the beat of change. Every step brings a brighter day. Miss South Africa, we're making waves. With hearts united, we pave the way. It's Africa, hey, we're celebrating all the light we shine, and the kingdom of excellence across the line. It's Africa, hey, together we rise as one we sing, celebrating educational excellence across Africa. Oh, we rise with the spirit of learning in our eyes. Together we stand, forever we grow. Miss Africa, let the whole world know.
One of the trailblazing NGOs transforming education in Nigeria. Welcome to the NESA Africa Nigeria Award, the overall best NGO contribution to achieving education for all in Nigeria. Highlights: NGOs making a profound impact on education through innovation, dedication, and action. Despite socioeconomic challenges and limited resources, NGOs are stepping up to bridge educational gaps and empower the next generation. Explore the category celebrating excellence in NGO-driven educational initiatives. Recognizing NGOs providing education to marginalized communities and improving access for out-of-school children. Honoring NGOs enhancing education quality through teacher training, curriculum development, and resource provision. Celebrating NGOs leveraging technology and unique methods to address educational challenges and promote learning. Winners receive national recognition, enhanced visibility, and opportunities for collaboration and funding. This award encourages best practices, fosters innovation, and drives progress towards educational excellence across Nigeria and Africa. Nominate the NGOs making a difference. Visit www.nesa.africa/nominate to submit your nominations. Your vote matters. Help us honor outstanding NGO contributions to education. Vote now at www.nesa.africa/vote. Together, let's recognize and support the NGOs driving educational change in Nigeria. Be part of the change with NESA Africa Nigeria.
Musa's teacher asked the class to open a learning app, the room went quiet. There was no data, no Wi-Fi, and the nearest charging point was a 2-hour walk away. But the lesson came anyway. It arrived on the radio broadcast. His family already trusted. It continued with a simple SMS quiz on a basic phone. It became real with a science set in a shoebox, where a bulb, a battery, and a bulb turned darkness into discovery. Later, his teacher received a WhatsApp voice note, Musa explaining the circuit in his own words. This is rural learning, not waiting for perfect conditions, but building with what people already have. Good evening, Africa, and hello to our friends joining us from the diaspora. You are watching EduAid Africa Interactive Webinar Series 2025, live from Zoho Webinar Studio and simulcast on NESA TV and It's Me Radio. EduAid Africa is a movement to turn education into equity and learning into liberation. Each episode is built towards the NESA Africa 2025 Awards, celebrating teachers, innovators, and change makers who bridge gaps and build dreams. I'm Hawa Halimi, your anchor on this vital conversation. And today's webinar is on EdTech innovation for rural learning. Despite the global advancement in education technology, rural communities continue to face significant barriers to quality learning. Many schools in rural areas are characterized by inadequate infrastructure, shortage of qualified teachers, limited access to learning materials, and poor internet and electricity connectivity. As a result, students in this area remain disadvantaged and unable to compete academically with their urban counterparts. Traditional teaching methods are often ineffective in reaching learners in remote areas where schools are understaffed and resources are scarce. The digital divide between urban and rural areas widens educational inequality, leaving millions of children with access to modern, engaging, and skill-oriented education. While education technology, EdTech, as most people call it, has the potential to transform rural learning through mobile applications, digital classrooms, radio and TV learning, and offline platforms. Its implementation in rural settings remains limited due to infrastructural, financial, and technical challenges. In many cases, available innovations are not tailored to the realities of rural communities. As such, low internet penetration, language diversity, and affordability issue. Therefore, the core problems lies in how effectively design, adapt, and deploy education technology information that are inclusive, affordable, and sustainable for rural learners. Addressing this challenge is critical to ensuring equitable access to quality education and reducing the learning gap between rural and urban population. Not only that, what about the children in areas where they have insurgency and banditry currently disturbing their education? That is why today we explore how educational technology is transforming learning experiences in rural communities, helping bridging the gap between the urban and rural education and empowering both teachers and learners with tools for the 21st century. And we have amazing lineup of speakers and panelists who will be doing justice to this question with their wealth of experience. But before we go to our speakers this morning, let's quickly go on a break. We'll be back shortly.
Education is the key to unlocking Africa's future. Yet, many face significant barriers such as lack of resources, infrastructure, and support. but change is on the horizon. Welcome to NESA Africa Nigeria 2024 Award, an initiative of Santos Creations Educational Foundation SCEF and EduAid Africa. The New Education Standard Award NESA is dedicated to recognizing and fostering educational excellence across Africa. NESA acknowledges the incredible work of stakeholders across Nigeria. Their contributions are making a profound impact on communities. Hear from those who have directly benefited. Real stories, real change. With EduAid Africa, we extend our reach, providing critical support where it's needed most. Join us in our mission. Support, volunteer, and make a difference. Together, we can achieve education for all. The future of Africa lies in its youth. Let's ensure they have the education they deserve. Visit our website to learn more and be part of this transformative journey. In a continent rich with potential and promise, education is the key to unlocking Africa's future. Yet, many face significant barriers such as lack of resources, infrastructure, and support. But change is on the horizon. Welcome to NESA Africa Nigeria 2024 Award, an initiative of Santos Creations Educational Foundation SCEF and EduAid Africa. The New Education Standard Award NESA is dedicated to recognizing and fostering educational excellence across Africa. NESA acknowledges the incredible work of stakeholders across Nigeria. Their contributions are making a profound impact on communities. Hear from those who have directly benefited. Real stories, real change. With EduAid Africa, we extend our reach, providing critical support where it's needed most. Join us in our mission. Support, volunteer, and make a difference. Together, we can achieve education for all. The future of Africa lies in its youth. Let's ensure they have the education they deserve. Visit our website to learn more and be part of this transformative journey.
In a continent rich with potential and promise, education is the key to unlocking Africa's future. Welcome to the New Education Standard Award, NESA Africa Nigeria 2025. Together, we celebrate the champions of education and inspire excellence across the continent. From bustling cities to serene villages, the heartbeat of Africa resonates through education. Our signature song is a call to action, a melody of hope, unity, and progress. Let it inspire you to join the movement for educational excellence. Spearheaded by the Santos Creations Educational Foundation, NESA Africa recognizes individuals, organizations, and institutions that are transforming the face of education. Together, we're shaping a brighter future for Africa. Celebrating outstanding contributions to education, NESA Africa Awards feature categories like Overall Best NGO Contribution, Best EdTech Organization, and many more. Excellence deserves recognition, and you can be part of this journey. Nominate outstanding contributors to education. Shine a light on their achievements by submitting nominations today. Simply scan the QR code to access the nomination portal. Sponsorship and partnership opportunities.
We're the leaders, the teachers, the mind so.
In a continent rich with potential and promise, education is the key to unlocking Africa's future. Welcome to the New Education Standard Award, NISA Africa, Nigeria 2025. Together, we celebrate the champions of education and inspire excellence across the continent. From bustling cities to serene villages, the heartbeat of Africa resonates through education. Our signature song is a call to action, a melody of hope, unity, and progress. Let it inspire you to join the movement for educational excellence. Spearheaded by the Santos Creations Educational Foundation, NESA Africa recognizes individuals, organizations, and institutions that are transforming the face of education. Together, we're shaping a brighter future for Africa. Celebrating outstanding contributions to education, NESA Africa awards feature categories like Overall Best NGO Contribution, Best EdTech Organization, and many more. Excellence deserves recognition, and you can be part of this journey. Nominate outstanding contributors to education. Shine a light on their achievements by submitting nominations today. Simply scan the QR code to access the nomination portal. Sponsorship and partnership opportunities.
We're the leaders, the teachers, the mind so bright.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, it is Edu Africa series of webinars that we organized towards the NESA 2025 Africa Award. And as I told you earlier, we have an amazing lineup of speakers and panelists who will share their experiences, research, and practical solutions on how EdTech can truly make quality education accessible for all, regardless of location. A warm welcome to all participants joining us from different parts of the country and beyond. Educators, policy makers, non-government organizations, innovators, and students. Thank you all for being part of this webinar. Before we begin, let's meet our distinguished speakers. As I told you this evening that we have amazing speakers today who will be doing justice to the topic. Let me start with the profile of Mohammed Umar Shira. Mohammed Umar Shira is a veteran broadcaster, development communicator, and a policy expert with over 3 decades of experience in journalism, media management, and public engagement. He is born in Shira, Bauchi State, and currently serves as the managing director of Bauchi Radio Corporations. He holds an advanced degree in policy, public policy and administration, mass communication from the National Open University, social administration from UniJOS, and English language also from the National Open University, alongside a diploma in journalism from IIJ, Abuja. Through his career, Shira has worked extensively on UNICEF-supported programs, coordinating communication and advocacy initiatives on health, education, and sanitation. He previously served as the Director of Corporate Affairs and Program Focal Officer at BRC. Also, part of our speakers this evening, we have Engineer Amarachi Krista Omeriefe, a result-oriented technology leader with a dynamic blend of expertise in developed artificial intelligence, Six Sigma and quality management procurement, and IT program management. She has a proven track record of driving digital transformation, optimizing complex systems, and delivering scalable AI-powered solutions. Adept at streamlining operations through automation, data-driven decision-making, and learning methodologies. She is known for bridging the gap between business goals and technology execution, while ensuring quality compliance and cost efficiency across global programs. Also, part of our panelists this evening is Gabriel Olufumi Olutoye, a seasoned development and management professional with over 15 years of progressive experience in project leadership, operation management, human resources, and partnership development across humanitarian and development context in Nigeria. He has successfully led donor-funded programs supported by USAID you said, FCDO, and other international partners, implementing intervention that promotes livelihood recovery, inclusive education, and community resilience. Also part of our panelists this evening, we have Mrs. Jidere Kaibu, the Dean of Instruction, Teachers Training College, Fawe Nigerian Board. She's also the Fawe Nigerian Board of Chairperson. Also with us this evening is Right Honorable Olaleru Folonsho. He is a distinguished educator, humanitarian, and youth advocate, whose leadership continues to inspire a new generation of change makers across Nigeria and the West African sub-region. He currently serves as the Nigerian representative at the West African Youth Council, where he plays a vital role in advancing youth development initiative, regional integration, and sustainable leadership engagement across member states. A passionate public servant and voice of youth, Ambassador Folonsho also serves as the Speaker of the Yoruba Youth Parliament, where he promotes cultural identity, civic participation, and policy advocacy for young people within the Yoruba nation and beyond. His dedication to inclusive leadership and youth empowerment has earned him recognition as one of the emerging thought leaders in youth governance and social development. Also part of our panelists this evening is Dr. Angela Harris, the founder and president of Blackwood Worldwide Institute of Change. She is the headmistress, Humanity Intellectual Academy and College, the founder, the rebirth of Black Nation, Queen Mother in Nigeria and Ghana, a visionary, educator, certified broadcaster, a prophet, and a global reformer. Dr. Harris is an internationally recognized Pan-African visionary prophetic teacher, certified journalist, and a global reformer, a native of Columbus, Ohio, USA, and a resident of Atlanta, Georgia, and Accra, Ghana. She defines her divine origin with unwavering conviction. I was born in America and I'm deeply Africa, but my origin is heaven. Our journey embodies divine purpose, academic excellence, and generational restoration. She carries what she calls the band-aid anointing, a sacred mantle to heal nations, restore broken systems, and rebuild identity of God's people across the world. Also, part of our panelists this evening, we have sorry for that. We have Musbau Olalekun Jimo, the Deputy Registrar, University of Ilorin. He has a master's in geography. He is the member of the Chartered Institute of Management and Leadership. He's also member Association of Nigerian University Professional Administrators, ANUPA, and member Nigerian Institute of Management. Also part of our panelists this evening, we have Jimo Daniel, a media and advocacy professional, passionate about communication, social development, and technology inclusion. He is the media lead at White Pill Media, State Program Coordinator at Food Impact Global, State Program Coordinator at Gold Advocacy Against Child Abuse Foundation, and facilitator for the Rural Tech Tour. His passion is promoting digital access in these underserved communities. Thank you all for joining us this evening for this interesting and interactive section. To set the tone for today's discussion, we will begin a keynote address by one of our speakers. And this evening, we will be starting with one of our professionals in the house, and we'll be starting with Engineer Amarachi. Engineer Amarachi, you are welcome to today's interactive section.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Without much ado, I would I want to appreciate you for and everyone here for the opportunity to speak regarding this issue of educational technology for rural learning in Nigeria. I take it that I can continue with the talk, right? Hello, are you with
Yes.
me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. May I know how much time I have?
Yes. You have 7 minutes, ma.
Okay.
So as to give room for everybody to contribute on
No
today's
problem.
topic.
No problem. Thank you very much for that heads up. I just wanted to know that I can walk with that. Thank you very much. So, I don't know if I can share my video, my slides. Okay, maybe not now. Well, speaking of education technology for rural learning in Nigeria. It's a very interesting topic because there's a whole lot to unpack here. I will start by, first of all, defining what education technology means because I think that's the basis of whatever we are talking about here. It is very necessary that we understand what that means before we can even proceed. And in my opinion, I would say education technology refers to the integration of devices, platforms, digital tools, and applications that are necessary to enhance teaching and learning experience, especially targeted at rural communities. It encompasses, a broad spectrum of resources, which are mostly online courses. It can also include interactive software, mobile applications, digital content, communication technologies, and what have you. In the rural areas where physical infrastructure and qualified teachers may be lacking, okay, let me just say are limited, let me not say completely lacking, but are usually limited. Educational technology, it kind of presents an opportunity to bridge the divide between what is obtainable in the rural community and what is obtainable in the urban community where those resources are very much concentrated. So that said, in the context of the Nigerian community, education technology holds a particular promise, here. Physical access to quality education can be seriously hampered by factors such as poor road networks, inadequate school facilities, and shortage of qualified teachers, as well as other socioeconomic constraints that I wouldn't want to go into because that's completely a different topic. So in this very case, education technology can help overcome many of these challenges by providing remote access to high quality resources that enable personalized learning and foster engagement in critical topics, especially with regards to STEM. When I say STEM, I'm referring to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects. So I will wrap it here and talk a little about the importance of STEM education in Nigeria. So it's very important. It's a very important thing. And before I even go there, I think it's important we find out why should we even talk about the rural, what we focus on rural Nigeria? Why must it be rural Nigeria? Well, according to statistics, over 70%, 65% of Nigeria's population lives in the rural areas. And when we're talking about that number, we are referring to both adults and children. When we take care about developing children who actually need education. And according to statistics, you said something? Okay, I heard something, never mind. So statistically speaking, the youth actually make up more of Nigerian population. Okay, getting this number from Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. So that large number is concentrated in the rural area, and the rural area is already lacking in access to resources. Somebody saying something, and it's kind of. I wanted to know if someone is communicating to me, or that is just something that is wasn't supposed to be captured. Hello.
Yes. You are on, ma.
Okay. No problem. That's what I'll continue. Okay, so like I was saying, over 65% of Nigeria's population live in the rural areas. And it's the people who are in the rural areas are facing serious constraints in quality of education. So naturally, it's only proper that we concentrate on that, because a larger population of Nigerians are actually facing these constraints in the field of education. Rural schools also often lack qualified STEM teachers, labs, and learning resources. And physical access is hindered by poor roads, electricity, and internet connectivity. So technology offers, scalable and flexible ways to bring quality STEM education to this community. So it's very important because STEM access to education technology brings access to help prepare the youth for careers in technology, agriculture, energy, healthcare, innovation, you name it. Okay, it's not just for STEM. Forgive me, I seem to be concentrating on STEM, but it's very important because access to education technology helps to build critical thinking, problem solving, and digital literacy, especially for the young minds who will someday develop into the important citizens of the country. It's also important because it drives national development and competitiveness. If you go to countries like China, they are already teaching their children at a very early stage to engage in STEM. You see them, they come back from school and they go and learn how to make simple things like adapters and what have you. Okay, they don't wait for them to finish university education. They are already involved and they have a hands-on practice, hands-on experience and education in this particular. It doesn't stop them from going to school. They go to school, they come back to join one workshop, they join one thing or another, because it's not just about theory, it's also about having that practical experience. Imagine someone who has that kind of exposure at an early stage, maybe when he's like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12. In the next 8, 10 years, the person is already an expert in that area. He's already talking about innovation, not just doing what has already been done, but breaking barriers and creating new spaces. And if the person is located in the rural area, has no access to those important resources via education technology, what hope does that person have? So I really don't need to paint much of a picture here. Just this analogy already tells you how important it is, especially for the developing mind. So I will still talk a little about the key challenges of,
I would have loved to hear the key challenges, for it seems your time is up. But you can still make your contribution as the program progresses, Ma. Sorry for that. Over now to Mr. Gabriel Olufumi Olutoye. Can you share your wealth of experience with us on this issue of EdTech innovation for rural learning? How can we use the available resources we have to achieve greater impact?
Thank you, Hawa. Good evening, everyone. So, I think the speaker who just has spoken extensively, and I would say that we have the resources to deploy EdTech within our rural communities. She earlier on asked why the emphasis on rural communities. However, I think it's because of inadequate management of resources. For example, personnel, unequitable distribution of resources, let me put it that way. That accounts for one of the major reasons why emphasis has been on the rural communities, right? And most people everyone wants to live in the city. According to the World Bank statistics, it says that 44.97% we have 44.97% of rural population. So, which is almost let's say over 100, almost half of the entire population of Nigeria lives in the rural, and almost a little above half live in the city. So there have been influx of migration of people from the rural to the city. Everyone wants improved quality of life. So the rural are neighborhoods where there are no infrastructures. nobody wants to live in. It is assumed that only underprivileged people, I use the word assume, only underprivileged people lives in the rural. But how be it? I'm going to say that, excuse me, I've been part of a project where there was an innovation to bring about improved learning in the rural communities. For example, we've always had interactive radio instruction programs funded by USAID in the past, and this was a program that had been way back since 2000, since sometime 2000. Since the year 2000, within the selected states in Nigeria with huge population. I'm aware that Lagos was there, Kaduna, Kano was there, like that. There are cities like that in Nigeria. There were the states in Nigeria that were there with huge rural population. So all we need to do is for government to constructively put policies in place to partner with the actors, with stakeholders. We can consolidate on the interactive radio instruction, a medium where radio, much more accessible radio networks were latched on, were partnered, and lessons were deployed for people in the village, beyond the walls of classrooms, even in the evenings where people come together, kids of different age, of the same learning age, learning different age, but of learning group come together, and they will be assisted by a moderator who ensures that they listens to the instruction from via the radio. An emphasis to numeracy and literacy, and these kids were learning because it was interactive. These kids were learning and they were doing well. So government can take advantage of this. What we need to do is to ensure that there's resources, there's policy backup. Government can actually look into these areas to improve learning and ensure technological innovation and work to improve on this. There have been low-cost telephoning, or should I say, phones to deploy using SMS to deploy lessons to teach pupils during the COVID, especially during COVID, where kids of school age were out of school. There were a lot of partnership within governments and some of these telecom companies and some development organizations that are into educational development, and they partnered short lessons to ensure that kids, even though there was pandemic, but yet they still stayed in tune with learning. So, yeah, don't forget that these kids are in the remote areas and there are no serious, strong internet access, but yet this technology, they are affordable and low cost, affordable technologies that people are deployed to ensure kids stay learning. And why do we ensure this? Because most especially in the rural, teachers are never available, learning materials are never there, classrooms, the school environment are not attractive. Girls, there are no toilets for girls to use. A couple of them will go back home to use the restroom. There are no potable waters. So these are challenges. But if government still wants to ensure that regardless of all these encumbrances that is challenging and confronting education in these rural communities, there are still social measures that can be deployed to ensure that education is still presented as a front burner agenda to this underprivileged population. Right, I think there's to this underprivileged population. So there are so many of these things that can actually be deployed. There are other for example, okay, we have as part of our speaker here today, we have a director of a radio station. The television could be, in the past, we used to have Tales by Moonlight. People gather together, people learn. It's still technology, right? The same way we have it as the television, which is the visual, the radio, like I said, which is the audio, right? There are several of this technology.
Thank
I'm
you
not a
very
technologist.
much,
There
Mr.
are,
Gabriel. Thank you very
okay.
much, sir, but your time is up, and we would like you to make your contributions later.
Okay, thank
Our
you.
participants in the house this evening, can you please introduce yourself one after the other? We want to acknowledge that you are part of this conversation. You can open your mic and introduce yourself one after the other. I know in the house we have Sadia, we have Angela, so let others introduce themselves one after the other so that we can know those participating on the program this evening.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, my name is
Your name?
Abdurrashid Abdurazak. Abdurazak. I'm on the call from Bauchi
Okay.
State.
Wow. Thank you for joining us this evening.
All right, thank
Then
you.
the next person should introduce him or herself. Hello. Okay, we have Mr. Sunday Bamsa, the regional manager from West Africa, Ubungo International. Welcome. We appreciate you for being part of this evening's program. Others too, we are expecting you to. Hello.
Evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good
My name
evening.
is Opara. I'm joining this session from Abeokuta, Ogun State, and I work with Teach for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Ms. Opara, for joining us on the program this evening. Next. Well, before others will introduce themselves, let's continue with the discussion. And now we want to start our panelist discussion. And this time around, even as a speaker, as a participant, you have the opportunity of making your contribution on the program. Just let us know you have something to say, and we will invite you to share your thoughts or idea. As I told you earlier that we have crop of professionals in the house this evening. So let's start with Mr. Musbau Olalekun Jimo. We would like to know how EdTech can address specific learning challenges in rural communities. You know, when Mr. Gabriel was talking, he talked about some of the things his organization was doing. But how do you think EdTech can address the specific challenges we are having in our rural communities? Mr. Musbau.
I think Mr. Musbau's network is a little bit down. You can throw the question to somebody else, please.
Okay, Miss Nana Atta, are you in the house? Mr. Jimo Daniels, what's your contribution on this particular issue? Okay. Let's go to Dr. Harris to know what she has to say on this particular issue. How can EdTech address the specific learning challenges in rural communities?
Can you repeat that question, please?
I said, how can education technology address specific learning challenges in rural communities?
Okay, so my take on the education technology in rural communities is twofold. The first thing is that a lot of things that we are teaching our children, I believe more in authentic technology or authentic intelligence than just the technology side of it. And then that the technology side should meet up with what our children already know. The way that it affects our rural communities is that a lot of it, there's no availability, even in networking. As you see, right now I'm in America, but I reside in America, and I also in Atlanta, Georgia, and I also reside in Accra, Ghana. Unfortunately, a lot of times, especially in Africa, a lot of the technology requires a certain bandwidth of internet service. And because of the lack of consistency, a lot of times it affects our children from being able to learn with some of the technologies that are available. So therefore, one of the things that I find as an asset to authentic intelligence or teaching our children without a lot of the technology that's out there because they don't have access to it is making sure that they're able to learn without the technology that they sometimes will not have access to. The other issue is just being able to have the how can I say it? Have, because I don't want to say people are lacking money, but a lot of people are lacking money. A lot of them don't have the means to get the technology that's necessary for these rural areas. And then unfortunately, we don't have a lot of people that are willing to sponsor. We have a lot of people that talk about wanting to help, but in our reality, the money that they give does not add up to the talk that they have. So I just feel that a lot of things concerning our children is their lack of ability to have the support from people that have the resources and that have the means to helping.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harris, for that thoughtful insight. Ms. Jidere Musa Kaibu, can you give your contribution on this issue? How do you think EdTech can address specific learning challenges in rural communities?
Are you speaking to me or someone else?
No, I'm speaking to somebody else. I want it to be an interactive one. I want to hear.
Can you hear me? Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you, Howard, for that question. Let me begin by saying that technology has come to stay, and that we must be able to deploy technology in teaching and learning. And I also want to reiterate the point earlier made by one of the speakers, that there is inadequate management of resources, and also add that a large number of people are living in the rural areas. So these are questions that we need to ask. Now, what happens? What do we do to ensure that everybody is on the table, everybody is on the same page, all the children have access to education? And since technology has come to stay, what do? We need to be asking ourselves these questions. I agree with the statement that government needs to constructively put policies in place. Constructively, I got that point, that government needs to constructively put policies in place, because without these policies, everybody is doing different things at different times in different places. For example, the example given earlier that children were, during the COVID, children were exposed to interactive radio programs for learning. Now, the question I want to ask is, how many of these children in the rural areas had access to this interactive radio program? And when this either NGOs or development partners bring in good practices like the interactive radio programs, how have we been able to scale them? How have we been able to scale these programs? I know that when in development partners come to states, the various states that he mentioned earlier, I know that they select local governments, maybe 5 local governments in a state, to represent the state, because they also are, their programs are also designed in such a way that they cannot cover the whole state. So what do? They select local governments. And how has government been able to scale up these good practices? The reports we get from states, are they scalable? Are these reports, do they cover everyone in the states? Do these children have access to these programs that we are saying are good programs and that so many children have learned through those programs? I'm very worried that our schools, despite all these efforts, have not been able to have, we're still complaining about no teachers, no structures, no teaching materials and equipment, and so on. So what do we do? I want us to be very practical in this discussion. What do we do to ensure that the children in the rural areas, we're talking about 44.97 of our population are in the rural areas. What do we do to reach all our children to go to school, stay in school, and get quality education? And since education and technology has come to stay, we must be able to employ practices that would be able to be scaled up. I agree with him, with the first speaker, completely, that Nigeria has the resources to provide this, provide children with the relevant materials, infrastructure, and teachers to get learning and quality learning.
Now, talking about
can I respond to that?
Hello?
Can I respond to what you said?
Okay, you can. Introduce yourself,
okay.
please.
Okay, sorry. My name is Gabriel Olufumi. I spoke earlier. I think what I said was what she has reiterated and she had just mentioned about, spoken about. Okay, so I would like to say that yes, there's a lot of gaps, there are a lot of issues, but there is need for government to come up with strong policy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. So I was saying that I was saying that there's a strong need for government to come up with a commitment, a policy commitment. How be it? Government can do these things alone. Even in the development world, government can do all these things alone. Yes, the resources are there, management are issues, there are leadership or governance issues across board in Nigeria, right? But NCC told us that internet users in Nigeria are over 122 million. Now, national average is 82%. And out of this 82%, 65% are in the rural areas. This is as a 2024 report. So, it is the response. Education is a right, not a privilege, like they say, but it is the responsibility of everyone. Governments can't.
Education is a right, not a privilege.
But it is the responsibility of everyone. Right?
Government
all
alone.
the actors, yes, all the actors need to come together. It's capital intensive. Learning is, see, people will say, if you think education is too expensive, try ignorance. So, and all sort of things like that. You know, but we need to. We are in the era of technology. Like technology has come to stay, like you said. So if you choose to slack behind, you'll be left on the spot. So everyone, and now there's something they call community-driven initiative. That's an initiative. It's a community-driven initiative where households, communities, government come together to chart the way forward on social sector issues. So you don't just fold your hands to say, oh, we are waiting for government. If the government may never come, and you are the government for all you care. So take initiative, take ownership, and run with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel, for that thoughtful speech.
Please, I have a quick question to Mr. Gabriel.
Hello.
I have a quick question for Mr. Gabriel, please.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Gabriel, thank you for your insightful presentation. But I'm looking at this issue of education at the rural area from the angle of the recent achievement by this government, that is autonomy for local government. Yeah, Mr. Gabriel, I don't know how to look at it vis-a-vis this autonomy that has been granted to local government. What impact is it supposed to have on the rural communities, especially in terms of educational development at the rural level? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. That's a very brilliant question. You see, I said, you and I are government. You and I are the government. Those that are privileged to steer the affairs of leadership are selected from within us. Local government is the closest arm of government to the community. But I tell you, as it is dead. Even though autonomy has been given, how much rights, how much room have they been given in Nigeria by the so-called the lords, the governors that are the lords in Nigeria to operate? With this same joint account, the community needs to see. It is not about agitation for. It's not about agitation. I'm not. Yes, it's not about agitation. It's not about fights. But there could be constructive dialogue with government. This is provided for by constitution. But governors have crippled local government. You see that you go to a local government, they will tell you all we have in our coffer is 4 million. You don't have money, so a lot can be done. So, but when community comes together, when we all see that it is our role and responsibility to ensure that our local government thrives and functions, and that is the only way we can get the impulse, right? We would come up. One person is not one car fits all. Do you understand? It is everyone. For example, we've seen in other climes, we've seen the effect of EdTech. In Hoyo, it worked. In Taraba, it worked. In Gombe and Niger State, it worked. I don't know how much effort those communities put in, but it shows that people are committed. You lesson in Nigeria, over 2 million households are engaged in it. So it means that some people are make that commitment to go a step further. But governance is a business of everyone. See, I'm a graduate of political science, and I'm going to end by this. Those who go to sleep when leaders are made have no rights when things go wrong. Do you understand? Yes, we have a lot of issues in our political space, but it is our business because the negative effect of poor leadership is affecting all. Thank you.
We all have a lot to do to make sure that things are right. We must all play our part. And now the question is, what is the way forward? Ms. Upara, what do you think is the way forward for us to achieve equal opportunities for children in rural communities? Ms. Upara from Teach for Nigeria, are you there?
No, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, off the top of my head, I would say one is partnership, right? When we think about the rural areas, for example, I'll use my context and what I do at Teach for Nigeria. I oversee an online radio program that seeks to air programs that educate children on literacy, girl child education, and social emotional learning, right, across Ogun State here and some other regions, right? So we seek partnership of these radio stations and other well-meaning individual organizations, right, to ensure that this is done for children in rural communities. We know that when we think about the rural communities, they have little or no access to the internet, first of all. They have little or no access to even smartphones. And the best bet here, for example, is the radio, right? And we seek to use this medium to also help to enhance learning beyond the classroom. We cannot do it alone, right? When we think about way forward, we can't do it. We need collaboration. The government can't also do it alone. Just as the last speaker spoke, when we go to sleep and when leaders are made, we don't have right to complain. All hands must be on deck. It should be our own individual responsibilities as well, and not wait or complain about the situation, but seek how to bring about situation, working with bringing about solutions rather, working with these communities, the rural communities. They understand what they want. We cannot go ahead to also create solutions without factoring in what exactly does these rural communities, the people in these communities, what do they actually need? What can be true? What can really help bring about that improved learning outcome using EdTech solutions in rural communities? When we think about when, for example,
Hello. Miss Opara, are you there with us?
Still here. Hello.
Hello. Okay, you are on.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. So I can hear you. I can hear you. The network is a bit flaky. So when we think about the outbreak of the COVID-19 and what that impacted on our schools, especially schools in the rural communities, we'll see that we cannot really just push aside the importance of EdTech innovations and the importance of key partnerships with individual and individual entrepreneurs and EdTech entrepreneurs are coming up now. For example, the U-Lesson, we have School Linker, we have a whole lot of them that when government and even the non-profit, other organizations and well-meaning Nigerians who are equally interested in seeing that improved learning outcome for children in rural communities, seeing that they also have that opportunity to attain excellent education, just like their counterparts in the urban community. And we cannot help but emphasize the importance of partnership, collaboration amongst these systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Upara, for that wonderful contribution. Now, we would like to hear from Bauchi. Mr. Abdulrazak, what do you have to say on this issue? What is the way forward?
Oh, okay. Good evening once again.
Good evening, sir.
Well, from my experience so far, as a school owner for that matter, and the experience we have gathered from those who have schools in the rural areas, I think there's an issue that needs to be addressed. And I know all the speakers have been talking about collaboration between the government and the various stakeholders in education. But there's a problem. And the problem lies in the fact that the same government that is supposed to be collaborating with the actors in the educational field are not encouraging the proprietors and proprietaries of schools. How? We have cases of double taxation, or let me even call it multiple taxation on schools. By the time you go to some schools, either in rural areas or in the urban centers, the complaint you receive from them is that we cannot do beyond what we are planning to do because we are being compelled to make some unnecessary payments, charges by government. Today it is in SEPA, tomorrow it is annual dues to the government, next tomorrow it's another set of people that will come and demand for this tax, for this revenue, and so on and so forth. So in this case, if we are charting a way forward, how can we make it when these problems are coming up for school proprietors and proprietors? Because you know that operating schools is a way of supporting the government effort. Government alone cannot do it. And that is why we feel that government needs to really come to the support of school operators by reducing some taxes, some charges on schools and so on and so forth, and giving them tax holidays and so on and so forth, so that these schools that are providing services, either at the rural community or at the urban centers, can be able to give the best to these children. Now, this out of school children syndrome is there that we have. If these schools decide to close shop, how many government schools do we have that can accommodate those schools, those children that are in these private schools? When they close shop, where will they now go to? These children that are living, not to talk of those who are out of school presently. So going forward, the government needs to realize the fact that private school operators are providing essential services to the community, and there's need for them to give them that tax holiday and reduce the multiple taxation that is on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulrazak, for that thoughtful contribution. Alhaji Muhammad Shira, please, we would like to share from your work experience, especially as a communicator. I know you have about 13 different radio stations that you are managing. So how have you been able to leverage on your radio stations to educate the children, especially in this area of education technology? Haji Umar, are you with us? Hello? Okay. Let's hear the contribution of Mr. Sunday Bamsa, the man from Ubongo. I know your organization is into using animation to educate children. What do you think is the way forward in this case? If you have questions to ask any of our panelists or any of our speakers, you can drop your questions in the chat box or raise your hand, your virtual hand, for us to call you to read out your question. Somebody have a question here for, oh, sorry. This question is for Mrs. Ejidere. The question says, what role do rural teachers play in driving technology adoption, and how can they be better supported? Mrs. Kaibo.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
Yeah, earlier I was asking so many questions because those things keep coming to my mind. You know, as we keep talking about these issues, we have forgotten to talk about the central person who is the teacher. The teacher factor is so important that we have not been able to. I know that as we keep talking, we will talk about the teacher factor. The teacher, in the Nigerian context, we realize that teachers do not accept rural postings. They do not accept rural postings because they prefer to stay in urban areas. Teachers are very key and they need to be trained. The teachers sent to rural areas most times are, I don't want to call them teachers because some do not even have business in the classroom because they are not trained. They just want somewhere they can manage. They accept the rural posting because they do not have anything to do, probably most times. So they accept rural posting. Some states have tried to initiate this what they call the rural posting allowances to encourage teachers accept the postings. Now we are talking about teachers that do not want to go to rural areas, and the wrong teachers are sent in inverted comma. And when they go to these rural areas, they do not know what to teach. They do not have the content because they are not trained. So now, if they are not trained, which means they do not have the capacity, they do not have training in technology for them to be able to even use the technology to even teach children. Even if it is online, offline, they can't use it. What I would like to suggest is those that do not have business in teaching should not be in the classroom. That is one. Then secondly, these teachers should be able to go through training and retraining and retraining. And I keep saying that I am not comfortable that most of these good practices are not scaled up. Even at state level, not even the country, even at the state level, you discover that some local governments are way ahead of some other local governments because the local governments have been selected, their teachers have been trained, and even in the local government selected, some schools are not selected. So there is all the teachers are not on the same page. The teachers do not have the same opportunities to training. So I am very worried that teachers are not provided what they need to go to class and give the students. So now the role of the rural teacher in driving technology is to be able to send them for training, make deliberate policies deliberate policies, plan ahead of time, plan for the teachers. Somebody talked about local government and finances in the local government. The local government chairman or the local government management do not have control over their finances, and therefore they cannot even plan for these teachers. The NUT cannot plan for the teachers. So many things are just wrong. So for me, I would say that the rural teachers can drive technology, but must be provided with the capacity to be able to do that. They must be provided with this capacity, and they should be supported to go for trainings, and that employment, recruitment should be done in such a manner that the right people are in the classroom. The right motivation is put in place. The resources are there. We have the resources to ensure that our schools
Thank you very much,
facilities
for your
and the right. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you
so
very
the right
much, ma'am,
teachers
for your
must be in class,
contribution.
and that our finances should be judiciously disbursed for the purpose for which it is meant for, and that leakages must be blocked. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Miss Nanahata, my namesake, can we use education technology to train teachers? What do you think about this? Using education technology to train teachers too, so that they will be able to carry out their responsibilities in class. Miss Nana, are you with us? Hello. Okay. Dr. Angela, over to you now. Can we use educational technology to train teachers too, so that they will be able to effectively train their students in class? Dr. Harris, are you with us?
I think they are having network issues. I think the question should be thrown open to everybody in the house.
And a lot of questions have been asked. Okay, let me see. Thank you all for your participation. I will start reading out your questions one after the other. Now, let's see. This question is coming from Sadia. She said, are teachers allowed to use digital devices like mobile phones in classrooms during lessons?
I think Sadia is just right. Please, as you read out the questions, let's know where individuals are representing and where they are talking or calling from, so we can know the reach today. Because I know Bongo covers 23 countries, Farewell covers over 35, Kasefa and the whole of Africa. So they are represented because they are partners. And please, let's know the number of people here so that we can use this document as a white paper. So please, moderator, put this into play.
Okay, thank you for that. Have a lot of people participating today, and we appreciate your contribution. Dr. Angela is with us, Mr. Abdul Rashid Abdurazak. Mr. Babajide is also in the house. Linda, Nanata, Nitia, Sadia, Mr. Sunday, and Mr. Umar Shira are also part of our participants today, and they cut across Nigeria and Africa. We have a lot of questions coming in now. Let's see. This question is from Babajide. He said, how can we ensure that technology actually improves the learning outcomes and not just the access? Because in this part of the country, we tend to be more keen on the access than the outcome. And this question is to Mrs. Jidere. She said, how can we ensure that technology actually improves the learning outcomes and not just the access? Because in this part of the country, we tend to be more keen on the access than the outcome.
Thank you very much, Hawa. Let me start with Sadia. I believe other panelists would also have contributions to these questions. Maybe Sadia is a little bit skeptical about the use of telephones in the school, in the classrooms during lessons, because experience has shown and reports have also shown that students misuse access to internet, pretending to learn while they are doing other things. And I believe that with close supervision, it is possible to use the either tablets or phones in the classroom. I think that we need to pay more attention and ensure that what they are expected to do is what they are doing. And most schools, from my experience, has shown that the tablets are used more than the telephones. Maybe others can join in to make their comments. And then to Babajide, to the question of how can we ensure technology improves learning outcomes. True, we are always, we are more concerned about getting the access than the outcome. Very true. Internet or technology or access to technology has come to stay. And that I believe that we had said it earlier, that it has come to stay, and therefore we must make all the necessary arrangements to ensure that our children in school have access to it. And for us to ensure that it improves learning outcome is to ensure that the right technology is provided. The right technology is provided, the right teachers are also provided. I am a teacher and I know what happens in classrooms. I know what happens to facilities and equipments that are brought to school. They are brought and teachers do not know how to use these equipments, and they stay, and these equipments evolve. New models. The following year, another model comes up. The teacher has not grasped this one, another one comes, and then we are good at just buying these equipments and bringing them, clapping hands that we have new equipments. But the teacher that uses this material or the equipment does not know how to use them. So training is a problem. And until we are able to ensure that our teachers are properly equipped and their capacities are built, then buying these materials and having access to them does not amount to anything. And that is why I'm really worried when I'm talking about teachers and how we use the materials. We do not have the capacity. And that when these materials are bought, I don't know whether the materials are bought just to, tick the boxes and say, okay, we have materials or we have equipment, latest equipment, and we keep them on the shelf and they are not used. And until these materials are properly used and until the teachers have the capacity, then it will amount to zero. And I am still saying that the teacher capacity is key in ensuring that technology is advanced and materials are used appropriately. I hope I've answered your question, but if I have not, then maybe somebody can come in to add to the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for that wonderful reply to the question asked. Miss Linda, what do you have to say on this issue? I'm tired.
Can I keep in if she's not coming?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, you are on, ma'am. You can speak, Engineer Marachi.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted to, first of all, I want to appreciate the speaker, the teacher lady. Sorry, I didn't get your name. Rather, I think I forgot your name, but thank you very much for that. I just wanted to add a few other things, and I think it's important because it's not enough to give people resources, and I'm going to talk from a practical point of view. Okay, what I mean by that is, as a quality person, as a quality engineer, we often look at things. We often look at where there are wastes. Okay, and when I talk about waste, I'm not just talking about physical waste. I'm talking about waste in resources. Even providing too much information is a waste. If the person is not able to use it, is a waste because you can just confuse the person. Okay, so what am I trying to say in a sense? If technology is being provided for people, I saw this firsthand when I during the lockdown when we did a program with what's the name of this HNG, okay, I7 then, and the first thing they do is that they teach you how to use Slack. You don't assume that you know the Slack platform. They teach you how to use Slack. That's the first lesson you kind of learn, and when you pass it, then we can now move on to your own specialization and what have you. Because if you don't know how to navigate the platform that you're using, then you are not going to be able to access the resources. You're not even going to be able to effectively participate in the program. Okay, so it's just as we pointed out, they bring out technologies and all that. I think it's much more important to provide proper training for the teachers and the students who are going to use it. Okay. On the other hand, I've noticed also that many a times, I'm sorry to say, a lot of teachers themselves are not willing to put in the work. I've seen that when I work with Tech Fund to provide training for an LMS, that's a learning management system for educators. I found out that most of them were doing it because there was some kind of incentive. Okay, expected to be there and stuff like that. They weren't ready to. Hello, but they weren't ready to put in the work. Sorry, I didn't get you. Somebody said something.
No, I said you have the floor.
Okay. So they were ready to put in the work. Well, I'm going to talk about practical strategies to kind of mitigate this. And first of all, as you rightly mentioned, people should be trained on the technology they're going to use. Another thing that people should also, I would say, is that it's not always necessary when there is a new thing, when there's a new version, a new anything, or a new technology that they should be introduced to it if it's not necessary. Okay? Things should be looked into. It's just like many a times they do this thing like people who want to change phone every year. Maybe today I have iPhone 15 or tomorrow there's iPhone 16. Oh yes, that's what's trending. I'm gonna get it. It's not really necessary, okay? Especially if what we have can very much do the work. Another thing I would say is that a lot of students also get very easily distracted, especially when they face a little challenge. So all these things can be tracked. They can be tracked through peer learning programs. They can be tracked through mentorship programs and online or offline hubs where the students can come and learn. Because sometimes, maybe because they don't like the teacher, or maybe because they were sleeping in class, or anything of that sort. And you find out that some people are usually more motivated than others. That's just how life is, and it's also obtainable even in the classroom. So a good way to track these things is through peer learning programs where people can feel free to discuss what issues and problems that they have in their learning challenge that they have. Because if they don't discuss it, it's definitely going to reflect in their test scores. That's for sure. Okay, so it's easier to track these things at an early stage through things like peer learning programs that has a mentor where people report to. So when they learn with their peer, it's easier. They're more comfortable, to say, look, I'm having problems here. I'm having problems here. Okay. That is one. Another thing that I would say is that when you are bringing these technologies, you don't just teach them and then you dump it and go your way. One thing I found out is that when you give these children tablets, it's not every browser they're supposed to use. It's not every site they're supposed to have access to. This is important. Facebook and stuff like that should be blocked. There are browsers specifically for education. There are browsers specifically that cater to students and education in general. They should have access to such things, okay? So other sites like, forgive me, pornography and what have you, you see, a lot of, when you give people power to do whatever they want, you no longer have power to tell them what not to do, okay? And at that stage, especially for teenagers, they can just be curious. They're curious about their body, and that's an opportunity to explore even what you're not asking them to explore. Sites like that should be blocked. Certain things should be installed to ensure that they're not visiting such sites. It's not about policing them. It's about, giving them less room for such distraction, okay? Let them have access to research tools. If it's Perplexity Pro, right now they even offer things like Perplexity Pro for students and stuff like that. Great, let them have it for research and what have you. So that is one thing. Another thing that they should always have is another means to kind of track these things, apart from the peer learning programs and stuff like that, is also them testing themselves amongst themselves. It's not you don't have to wait for the teacher to come and give you tests and stuff like that. Little mini assignments and stuff like that can be given to them and completed online through digital means. So you see where people are having issues. It's just like when we had our votes and when we had our, I think last election, a lot of the INEC people are complaining that some of the results were invalid because of the way they were submitted, because people did not even know how to submit it properly because they were not properly trained. It's not like they didn't have intention of submitting, but because they they were not sure where to submit the thing. And so the votes that people casted were just a waste. It happens, but it's not just about that level. It also happens in the school system. Somebody can know something. Somebody can be good at something, but does not know how to use the platform you gave her. You gave him or her to submit that very thing. For instance, let's say you're supposed to submit this in PDF format, and they've written it in Word, and they don't know how to convert it to PDF. That's already a challenge. You understand? As small as it is already a challenge. So there should always be ongoing education for these kids as they are using these things, and there should always be a check-in, even if it's once a month or stuff like that. But it must not necessarily be someone outside. It could be someone within them. It could be through a train-the-trainer approach. That I found out to be very, very good, because people find it easier to approach one of them. If you're one of them in a circle and they're using a train-the-trainer approach, people find it easier to approach you than if you're some foreign person from nowhere and they're looking at you like, stuff like that. And students tend to be more of into their own thing on, stuff like that. So using a train-the-trainer approach is another way to, improve and track these things, because when you teach them, you find it easier to find out the places where their weak points and their strengths and what needs they have for either training and development or even technology recommendation and stuff like that. So like I said, train-the-trainer approach, peer learning programs, mentorship, especially with people within them there. It could be senior students, it could be their fellow students, but I found out that this works better when they have somebody within the fold and not necessarily somebody outside. It could be coordinated. There could be an overseer, like a teacher or a supervisor who is not a student. That's okay. That's great to track the numbers and to make the decisions. But many a times I found out that these things are best approached on the inside, and the numbers don't lie if you're going to be honest with yourself. If you have 50 persons in a class, and 25 are not doing well because they're struggling with technology, and then you introduce the train-the-trainer approach, you introduce the peer learning program, you introduce weekly check-ins on how to use the technology, how to submit assignments, you give them, weekly tasks and see how they are improving. And then you give another test, I don't know, in another month, definitely there's going to be improvement. It may not be wonderful at first, maybe an improvement with 5% or 10%. But you keep going, and before you know it, there is a huge improvement. It's a thing that you have to be patient about. You're working on the quality, not the quantity. Over time, the quantity will catch up. So that's just what I wanted to chip in there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Amara, for that wonderful contribution. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we shall be taking contributions of the participants on the program.
The trailblazing NGOs transforming education in Nigeria. Welcome to the Nestle African Nigeria Award. the overall best NGO contribution to achieving education for all in Nigeria highlights NGOs making a profound impact on education through innovation, dedication, and action. Despite socioeconomic challenges and limited resources, NGOs are stepping up to bridge educational gaps and empower the next generation. Explore the category celebrating excellence in NGO-driven educational initiatives, recognizing NGOs providing education to marginalized communities and improving access for out-of-school children. Honoring NGOs enhancing education quality through teacher training, curriculum development, and resource provision. Celebrating NGOs leveraging technology and unique methods to address educational challenges and promote learning. Winners receive national recognition. Enhanced visibility and opportunities for collaboration and funding. This award encourages best practices, fosters innovation, and drives progress towards educational excellence across Nigeria and Africa. Nominate the NGOs making a difference. Visit www.nesa.africa/nominate to submit your nominations. Your vote matters. Help us honor outstanding NGO contributions to education. Vote now at www.nesa.africa/vote. Together, let's recognize and support the NGOs driving educational change in Nigeria. Be part of the change with NESA Africa Nigeria.
Welcome back. As I told you earlier that I will be reading out contributions from participants who participated in today's program. This message is from Dr. Angela Harris. She said, another issue are the educators. A lot of educators are not qualified intellectually. Then this message is from Miss Linda. She said, yes, the teachers are the core of this discussion, and the quality training and capacity building must be given among other things for effectiveness to thrive in the education sector. This contribution is coming from Mr. Sunday Ubongo. Yes, Mr. Sunday Bamsa from Ubongo. He said, partnership is key from government, private and non-profit organizations. We can all share resources and experiences. Ubongo, for instance, seeks to partner organizations that work in rural settings to ensure kids there also have great opportunities to strive. And that is all the contributions from our participants this evening. Before we go on the program this evening, I would like all our participants and panelists to just do a wrap-up to give us a key takeaway, a call to action on how we can collectively strengthen EdTech for rural learning. Let's start from Mrs. Jidere.
Thank you very much. Let me start by agreeing with engineer that we must be able to take care of the wastes and ensure that we get technological materials when they are necessary. But I tell you, it is a practice, and I don't know, maybe it's because of the leakages. It's a practice that when new models or new versions of equipments come, it is like maybe because they want to justify expenditure, I don't know, but new equipments are preferred to the older ones. Meanwhile, the older ones have not been exhausted, or that they have not even been used. It is a culture. It is a culture. It's a practice that we must be able to do away with. And again, I would like to, my final words will now be that we should ensure that the teacher be the center of what we are discussing. We should ensure that this teacher is properly trained, he's provided with the materials, methodology, the methods he's supposed to use or is expected to use should also be updated. His capacity should be built. If he has been employed or she has been employed to teach, then he or she must be provided with all that he needs to ensure that the outcome from the schools are solid. Our children should be able to be given quality education. And quality education does not mean what we put in, but how we use what we put in, how we use them. Therefore, I would say that teacher capacity should be key, it should be central, and it should be taken seriously.
Thank you for that, Ma. Mr. Gabriel, your final message on the program. Mr. Gabriel, are you with us?
I think the network has thrown him out.
Okay, Engineer Amara.
I'm here.
I said your take-home message before we go on the program.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. My take-home message is that when it comes to education, I think the best approach is a methodological approach where we try something, we observe, we learn, and we improve. Okay? If you look at it like a systematic approach, and we may know the end, but people learn differently. Okay? It's great to bring technology. It's also more important that the people whom you're bringing this technology for are actually making use of it, and it's beneficial to them. Like they say, law was made for man and not man for law. So technology too is meant to serve man and not the other way. So what I would say is that when it comes to technology, when it comes to whatever approach we are taking, that we should prioritize the learners who are actually using this technology, and we should always, conduct it. It may not necessarily be like a full-scale research, but always, look at it from a research kind of perspective, and be always willing to improve whatever we are giving them. It's more important that they have what they need than for them to have what they don't, have more than they need and then get unnecessarily confused. It is a well-known thing in UX design that when you give people too much options, they get confused and they usually end up wasting the options. So it's far more important to give people what they need at that particular point in time, always work on improving it, just as we have stages in education. Today you're in nursery school, tomorrow you're in primary school, another day you're in secondary school, university, master's, PhD, and voila, you're a professor. Imagine if you had to introduce a professor's or a PhD student's curriculum or technology to you while you were in secondary school. You find out that it's going to be off-putting, it's going to be annoying, and it may even discourage you. Not because you're not supposed to meet it somehow, but because you are not yet ready for it. So that's how we should look at these things, and give people what they need and what they can actually use to solve their problems. So before then, we should first of all understand where they are so that we can provide the necessary training to get them to where we want them to be in order to use this technology. We should always prioritize what people need. And technology should be just in time for what it should be used for. That is, Anything outside that, we start the risk of wasting people's time, wasting our resources, and generally not getting a very good result. That's how I see this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Amara. Mr. Abdurazak, your contribution.
Good evening once again. We have listened to our speakers and contributors, and looking at the issue of on table, that is EdTech innovation for rural learning. We know that most of our teachers, like it has been said by many speakers, who are meant to teach in rural communities, they are lacking in so many areas, especially technological aspects. What we need to encourage is not just coming to the school to come and learn the technology. Before coming there, there's need for them to acquire the knowledge, the basic knowledge of technology, so that when they get to the school, they will just be upgrading their knowledge of technology, and then they become very useful to the learners in the school. Because if teachers are not well grounded technologically, then we are still far away from what we are advocating for. So my final takeaway is that we should try as much as possible to upgrade the knowledge of our teachers technologically and otherwise, so that we'll be able to get to where we are going at the right time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurazak, for that thoughtful contribution. Ms. Opara, your final contribution on the program.
Okay, am I clear?
Yes, you are clear, ma'am.
Thank you. So a lot has been said so far on capacity building, teacher training, and the like. One thing I want to add as a final takeaway, and something that I'm also taking with me from this session, is intentional practice, right? It is important that teachers are intentional about putting in what they've learned from the training, capacity building workshops and sessions just like this into their lesson delivery, into their teaching delivery, very teaching delivery in the classroom, right? It is in so doing that they become better at it, and they can better improve or better impact on the learning outcomes of their students, right? And so how are they incorporating and ensuring that each lesson delivery, there's that innovative technology included or embedded in every lesson delivery? Are they utilizing education innovative technology in their teaching? So, for example, in biology, in English, in math, how are they ensuring that every topic in that subject, they are including incorporating technology into that? It will just be as little as telling the children, the learners, to watch a particular video on YouTube, or using all the other education technological tools like quizzes, Kahoots, and the like, to giving take-home assignments and assessment to their students. Again, I would also like to call on the school leaders, because they also play a key role in ensuring that this is being done by teachers, right? When they go for these workshops and training, the school leaders also need to ensure that they are supporting the teachers to effectively incorporate this rather into their lesson delivery. And for generally, I want to also say that this takes time. So you should understand that it's a step-by-step process that requires the all hands to be on deck, emphasizing on partnerships and collaboration, even with other stakeholders such as the parents. Sometimes we tend to try to provide solutions to issues such as this without carrying along even the parents as well, right? in the equation. So it's important that we are also ensuring that we are putting into consideration all our stakeholders, carrying them along as well. So 3 things: practice, support from school leaders, and then also carrying along other stakeholders and ensuring that we are collaborating effectively in achieving proper or effective EdTech innovation in rural areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Participants, you can see that it is important for us to work together towards achieving the same goal. You know, a lot of our participants this evening and even our speakers and panelists said it is important for us to train the trainers. It is important for us to work on mentorship and also on partnership. And governments need to come up with different forms of commitment towards ensuring that every child have access to quality education using different technology. Before we round up today's program, I would like to invite the brain behind this project, the founder of the Santos Educational Foundation, and also the man who is responsible for all these webinars that we have been doing, Mr. Shola Aderibigbe. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'll use this opportunity to say a big thank you to everybody for attending. And my take is technology are actually simple solutions for solving complex problems. But when we make the solution complex to solve simple solutions, then we don't get an headway. On this note, I realized that all we've been talking about is about, first of all, investing in the teachers and technology. Because technology, basically, when we look at it, the contents of Africa education, is not supposed to be anything complex, but what works for us. So what actually works for us in Africa, so that will go in line with what engineers have said, not wasting resources and time, but having more effectiveness. And basically, this will lead us to the next webinar, which is social media and its content for education advancement and enhancement in Africa. Basically, EduAid Africa goes beyond Nigeria. It's Africa, and it's the advocacy arm for the award, New Education Standard Award Africa. So looking at the next topic, which is social media and its content for education in Africa, we're asking the question, can teachers become education influencers, thereby using what we have negatively, converting it back to positive? So let's come together, let's think through these topics, and the guidelines will be held on Thursday. You may want to be part of it as speakers, panelists. But can teachers become influencers? Can we just looking at the social media influencers in different aspects that is not giving quality contribution back? And we can enhance the motivation of teachers as influencers, thereby putting it back into education. We look forward to having you on this particular discussion again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shola Aderibigbe. Can teachers become influencers in a positive way? Join us next week for another interesting edition of our webinar. Special thanks to all of you for joining us today on this significant discussion on EdTech innovation for rural learners. We've learned that technology, when applied thoughtfully and inclusively, can bridge education gap, empower teachers, and open up a world of opportunities for learners in rural communities. A big thank you to our keynote speakers, our panelists, and to everyone who participated. Let's continue to collaborate, innovate, and advocate for equitable access to education everywhere. I'm Hawa Halimi. On behalf of the Santos Educational Foundation, I wish you all a wonderful day. Stay connected, stay inspired, and let's keep learning together.
Across Africa, classrooms are opening. From village paths to city skylines, partnership turns ideas into access. EdTech that works when the signal doesn't. Powered, cached, and classroom ready. safety, dignity, inclusion. No learner left out. Green skills that lead to real jobs. And paydays. Diaspora, donors, and data. Trust you can see? Pledges flow through verified rails. Wallets, coins, and public ledgers. Every week, we convene ministries, teachers, companies, and civil society in multilingual forums that turn talk into tools. Local chapters carry the work on radio, TV, and online. So solutions travel further than bandwidth. Then the Expo closes deals, scholarships, safe school kits, teacher training, apprenticeships, register, partner, act.
Funding education through partnerships.